All right, we're going to talk about analyzing graphs of quadratic functions. We're really going to be looking at finding the vertices, the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and whether it's a max or min. Once we find the vertex, it's pretty straightforward to graph after that because I could just pick values to the right of the vertex and left of the vertex and plot those points. Okay. So the first thing is if we're in vertex form. If we're in vertex form, it should be pretty straightforward to find the vertex. So f of x equals a times the quantity x minus h, quantity squared plus k. This is vertex form, so that when we, remember last time, if we completed the square, that puts us in vertex form, okay? So my vertex is hk. My axis of symmetry is going to be x equals h. So it's that x coordinate of my vertex. I will have a minimum if a is greater than 0. So if I have a positive here, so if I have a positive x squared, I'm going to have a minimum at the vertex. And if a is negative, I have a maximum at the vertex. So here's my first one. I'm in vertex form. So the good thing is since I'm in vertex form, I can automatically find my vertex. Okay? So my vertex is going to be what makes the inside of that parenthesis 0. So that's going to be 1/4. And then I just take the outside piece, -2. So I have 1/4 -2, that's my vertex. My axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 1/4 because it's my x coordinate. And now I need to determine if this is going to be a max or min. So I look at my number in front, it's a 3. Awesome. So since it's a 3, a is greater than 0, so I have a min at the point 1/4 -2. So I have a minimum value of -2. So the next one, I have f of x equals x squared plus 10x plus 23. Well, this is not in vertex form. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert it to be vertex form. So the first thing I want is I want this to be a 1 out front. Okay? It doesn't always work that way, but hopefully it will. If it's not, I'm still going to, what I'm going to do is if it was something like 2x squared plus 10x plus 23, what I would do is I would still kind of group those together, okay? And so then I would go 2 times x squared plus 5x plus 23. And then I would find this piece. And so this would be x squared plus 5/2 quantity squared times 2 plus 23. But now when I square this, so this becomes 25/4, I'm going to multiply that by 2. So I would have minus 25/2, okay? So that's if I didn't have it. So what happens here now is I want to take half of this value. So this becomes x plus 5 quantity squared plus 23. Now I'm only on one side here. Okay, so remember last time when we completed the square, we added it to the other side. Well, if I was adding it to the other side, I could actually take it and subtract it from this side. So I'm going to go minus 5 squared. Okay, so that's going to give me x plus 5 quantity squared minus 2. Now I can find my vertex. Well, my vertex is going to be -5, -2. My axis of symmetry is going to be x equals -5. And I'm going to look to see if this is a min or max. Well, I look here, x squared is positive, so a is positive. So I have a min value of -2. Now, this is a lot of work to find the vertex. A lot of times what I will personally do is kind of use this formula for the vertex. So if you remember the quadratic formula, it's -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Well, what that formula is really doing is it has the vertex, and then it's adding and subtracting a piece to get to those zeros on the x-axis. So what we're going to do to find my vertex, my x-coordinate is just going to be -b over 2a. Okay, so -b over 2a. Once I have my x to find my y, I'm just going to plug it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that x value and plug it into f of x to find it. Okay, so here's my item here. I have -x squared plus 14x minus 47. So I have an a of -1, a B of 14, a C of -47. I don't actually need the C when I'm talking about my vertex, axis of symmetry, and whether it's a max or min. So I'm going to find my x-coordinate by going -b over 2a. Okay, so I have -14 over 2 times -1, which gives me 7. So I know my x-coordinate is 7. Well, now to find my y-coordinate, I'm going to plug it in. -7 squared plus 14 times 7 minus 47. So this gives me -49. That gives me 98 minus 47. So that's 89, 96. So this gives me 98 minus 96, which is 2. So my vertex is 7, 2. My axis of symmetry is going to be my x-coordinate. And now I have to determine if it's max or min. So I look here, A is negative, A is less. So it's a max at 2. Okay? So that's utilizing it. We could go through and graph these. Most of the time we're just looking at, analyzing this, finding that vertex and comparing it to a graph.